All right.
Okay.
Welcome to the Floor 2 podcast. I'm your host, Kyle, and then along with me are the two other hosts of this brand new podcast, Trey and Luke. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
What's up? I'm Trey.
How's it going? I'm Luke.
So, the. Oh, that sounds great, Trey.
Oof. My bad.
Anyway, so we are new to this whole thing, and the reason why it's called Floor 2 is because in our university, the floor we were on was Floor 2. And we just so happen to be really good friends with really good computers and stuff and know our shit. So, anybody want
That's
to
a
take it away?
overstatement right there. Know our shit.
Yeah.
That's
basically.
pretty bold. I like it.
Yeah. Well, I know less shit than you guys do, but it's whatever.
That's okay.
Alright. So,
Everyone knows less than somebody.
what have you guys been up to since we just left from college?
I just work IT and take summer classes, so yeah.
Trey?
Yeah, my life's pretty boring right now. Been working on. Well, okay. So I have a couple projects I'm working on right now. We're making a game, and we're of course doing this podcast. And I'm also got some streaming stuff down the line that I'm hoping to get started on. But other than that, sleeping,
Sleeping.
eating
Well,
food.
that's true. I also stream.
Yeah, we can talk about that in a later time.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Alright. Alright, we're gonna start this off with what are your guys' weirdest masturbatory stories?
Masturbatory. Gosh. All right. How about I want to hear Luke. I want to hear what Luke has to say about just anything sexual. To be honest with you.
Let's hear it.
Why? What do you want
just
me to
go
say?
ahead.
I don't know what you want me to say.
Do you have a weird story about a masturbatory habit or something?
I mean, not
Have you
really.
done it in
no.
a different place? A weird place?
No.
Okay, I guess I can tell it. I did it once in the car, in the back seat.
What the fuck?
I had a blanket on me.
Kyle.
I was laying
God,
down.
That's
I was like 14, 13. So, rock hard all the time.
Oh yeah.
It's just how it goes. What about you, Trey? Do you have one?
I like honestly have so many weird stories to be completely honest with you. From around the same period of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. Okay, I have one that's kind of funny. So like, I used to live with my grandparents in their basement.
Mm-hmm.
I know it sounds really lame, but like it was finished. I was like 13 or 14.
Oh, you finished too, right?
Oh well, we'll get there. So I'm down there. There's no lock on the door, but since there's like stairs, I always was like, here someone comes down, and yeah. So I'm down there. I'm like, well, I'm feeling feeling like doing that for a bit. So I get completely naked as anyone would, and I'm under a blanket, so it's whatever. And like right as like I'm,
About to finish.
no, in the middle of it, someone comes down. It was my cousin, and like he didn't know, but he asked me. He's like, "Were you jacking it?" And I was like, "No."
I was about to.
And he's like, "Well, we gotta go. Like, they're getting dinner or something." He's like, "We gotta go, get ready to get dinner." I was like, "All right, let me put my pants on." He's like, "Why are you not wearing pants?" So yeah, I guess that's shit, Kyle. What a thing to start out with.
Yeah, I know. I kind of borrowed that from a previous podcast that I listened to. Anyway.
Okay.
Alright, Trey, hit us with a topic.
Okay. Well, I was thinking about this a lot. When we were talking.
Masturbation.
Yesterday.
Got it. Okay.
No, not masturbation. Not masturbation.
Can we get off that topic, please?
Oh, we can get off. All right.
All right. That's
Oof.
I want to talk about overplayed songs because yesterday we were talking and Kyle said that the song Africa was overplayed, which, I took great offense to that.
I still like the song. It's just overplayed.
That's fine. You know, whatever. Just one of the greatest songs I've ever heard. Overplayed. Fine. Though, my personal pick for that would be not Journey. The song by Journey. Don't Stop Believing.
Yeah, that
Holy
was
shit.
offended by that.
I've heard that song so many
Yeah.
times.
I suppose
I'm
that's
so
true.
sick of
Yeah.
it. Or even more controversial, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Mm.
I
Yeah, I feel
borderline
like
don't like that song.
it does get played a lot, and I just never understood why it was so like. I don't know. You know. I didn't
Well,
see why it was that
musically,
popular. Like it's
very,
good, but
I don't know,
like you
it's
said, it
just-
just got overplayed a lot. I don't know.
Do you have a pick for that, Luke?
Not like for the whole time, but like an example I could give is so I got to go to the 2015 All-Star game for baseball, and Walk the Moon was there because this is 2015, and Shut Up and Dance With Me was like the hottest single ever.
Yeah,
Oh,
good song.
yeah.
And they played that, and I was just like, all right, this song is like annoying now because literally it gets played so much that I'm just tired of hearing it. Like, it's,
I think the level though is different because I like that song a lot and I like Walk the Moon a lot, but if I do not like to listen to Don't Stop Believing or Bohemian Rhapsody, like I don't like those songs anymore because of how often I've heard them.
Artists who are overplayed, at least on radio here in St. Louis, is like not Aerosmith. Alice in Chains.
Mm-hmm.
Alice in Chains, shit like that. I know it sounds really bad, but I'm getting really tired of Nirvana.
Yeah, I feel like it's always like the classic, like the ones that people love. I guess it makes sense because they get played a lot.
Yeah, music.
But, I mean-
the band that I cannot stand these days, Metallica.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Metallica especially they're really
Really?
bad about that. They play that so much.
Exactly.
Anywhere you go, it just has the radio on.
It's just fucking annoying.
I used to work for a bowling alley, and I did concession there, and all they played was like 80s hair metal and stuff like that, stuff like Metallica.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I got so fucking sick of that music.
I've grown up so much on classic rock that I'm so sick of classic rock.
Yes, yeah.
And its majority of it is because it's all guitar riffs and no
Mhm.
like good lyrics.
It's not interesting. It's just like,
Boring.
oh, let's listen to this guy like scale up and down his guitar for
yeah.
Exactly.
3 minutes.
Like Rush 2112, it's like a 11-hour song and the majority of it is drums. Like, don't get me wrong, I love me some drums, but come on. You don't need to make an 11-minute song.
This is a great way to start any series by shitting on
Shitting on
a
classic
very
rock.
popular genre of
Dude.
music.
All right. On the topic of music, and I'm not gonna bring up This Is America because I know Kyle is tired of me talking about it, but on that topic of misinterpreted songs or like anything along that line, what do you think is a song that like people always get the meaning wrong of, or like maybe it sounds it's one way, but it like say it sounds happy, but it's really like a sadder song, like something like that you think
Well, what's an example?
Wow.
like just well, I can give one, but I want you guys to come up with ones too. Like Hey Ya by Outkast is like a super upbeat sounding song, but it's
Yeah.
about like how they really don't love each other. 99 Red Balloons is about accidentally starting World War III because he released 99 red balloons.
That's funny though. I mean,
Oh, yeah, that's
yeah,
real funny.
but that song sounds super good. No, but I'm saying it's interesting how we misinterpret a song because we're not paying attention to the lyrics, we're paying attention to the way it sounds.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I could think of an example myself, just because I don't listen to a lot of like pop music. So like,
I suppose, or it doesn't even have to be something like that, but like where it sounds happy and it's not.
Or where
But
it's
you
like
could
there's a
say something
difference.
that like people misinterpret. Like Born in the USA, I feel like people misinterpret a lot because they're all like, "Oh yeah, America, I'm born in the USA," and it's like that song's about like him having to go to Vietnam and his brother dying in Vietnam, like not
No, yeah.
Yeah, where
being
it's
like,
like-
not being like a proud
sincere.
American,
How
like
about upbeat songs like Fleetwood Mac, I think it is.
yeah,
You know, the ones that are usually pertaining to like Vietnam.
yeah.
I can't really sing it because we'd get a copyright strike, but
Yeah.
that and just old like rock like that, like Purple Haze and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can't really think of stuff off the top of my head. The more things that I would think of symbolism and stuff like that is like literature, and
Yeah.
but music, I bet if I sat there and contemplated about it, like I would figure it out. Like I can
I
say
mean,
like,
you could say even Pumped Up Kicks is like, I mean, obviously the lyrics are very clearly like kind of fucked up, but like
yeah,
it doesn't, you know, when you hear the thing, you're just like, oh yeah, this is like, this sounds good.
I know there's a couple Watsky songs that I could probably talk about, but I can't think of them over the top of my head. One of them is not Stronger Than Oak, but it was like a Deer Tick sample guitar riff that he rapped over. Here, let me see if I can look that up. You guys continue the conversation. Figured out.
I feel like a lot of songs.
Wounded Healer is what it's called. All right.
What was I gonna say?
Yeah, I don't know.
Not so much the difference between like how they're interpreted, but just like the difference between what they sound like and what they are like trying to get across.
Yeah.
I guess that's what you're getting at. Cause like one of the few popular songs I think I've listened to a few times is like what's that one like the suicide hotline one.
Oh, we're talking about 1-800.
1-800 whatever by Logic. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that song I thought that song was like really sad and cause it sounds sad, but I guess it's not.
Well,
it's like the message is
well,
supposed to be
it's
good,
like it's like a misconstrued message, because at the beginning it sounds sad, and then at the end it's
It
even
becomes
better.
happy.
But
or it
even
develops. Yeah.
even the I don't know if you guys have watched the music video for that, but that music video made me cry, and I'm not even ashamed to admit that as a man. That video, it made me cry. It was pretty good.
You big baby.
Yeah, blow me.
Only babies cry.
Okay, Trey. I mean, to be fair, I have not cried in years, but
Well, Luke's a robot.
that's
Yeah.
not necessarily a good thing. That's not true, Trey.
No,
It's just what the government wants you to think.
I don't cry very often anymore. But
I cry every night.
like if you cry every time.
One
before
leg
bed.
cry every Tim.
Luke, you got a topic?
A topic? Yeah, I can give you one. So why don't we do how to get better at games? So like, but like how that varies between like game styles. So like for example, like a first-person shooter, I feel like getting better at a first-person shooter is pretty straightforward. It's
You
like just
keep
play it a
playing the
lot,
game, yeah.
try and work on your aim, and like think of ways to help you not die as often. I don't know, like, you know, it's pretty basic, but like how would you get better at like a turnstile game, or how would you get better at like
Well, turnstile game.
even like a battle
You mean, like,
royale, like
turn-based?
turn-based
Like
game.
you-
Sorry,
I
turn-based
can
game.
Think of off the top of my head is Pokemon. Pokemon, you can probably study statistics and like the weaknesses and stuff, special attacks, make your rotation better, make sure everything's even levels, or
Yeah, you just gotta know.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just have to know stuff.
I think
for
that is like a
turn-based
logical
games.
thing. I think a lot of the other games, like than shooters, are kind of like that.
so you like you throw down on the handbook or go to the wiki or look up like YouTube videos that are strategic that can show you. And apparently, even we were a follower from my stream, Celeste. We've been talking to them recently, and she's teaching me a whole bunch of stuff about like RuneScape and stuff like that. How you can do things quicker for more money and how to maximize your time.
Yeah,
Be more
I
I
think,
think that's
most
the
of the-
difference between games like that, where like when the pacing's different. Because like RuneScape, you just kind of do what you want when you want to, and like the key to getting good at games like that is like knowing, just knowing stuff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Where games like
but applying
you know,
the knowledge,
like,
you know, too.
But she was teaching.
Yeah.
She was teaching me about like tick mining, which is like it's really fast mouse play. Like think of like a MOBA, like you know how you have to quickly switch to stuff on MOBAs,
Yeah,
things like that. So you have to, okay, hit it, drop, like wait for the respawn, like the rocks and the mines and stuff. Or in your case, Luke, as of recent, you've been playing RuneScape, but you've just been woodcutting.
Yeah,
Think-
woodcutting level 99, bronze axe only. Don't at me.
Oof. Anyway, but with that
Speaking
being
of
said,
get good. Speaking of get good. All right.
Yeah, no kidding.
Let's talk about. Can we talk about Dark Souls for a bit?
In a
You
hot,
guys like Dark Souls?
I haven't played it.
Never
Oh
played
my
it either.
gosh. So, y'all need to play it with me sometime because I love Dark Souls.
Got
It's definitely a console game though. I mean, you can play on PC, but you need a controller.
Your
for
controller,
sure.
yeah, that's what I've heard.
But like, that's one of those games where I mean, people always talk about how it's hard and that you have to like be really good at video games. But I am ass at video games, and I love that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like, especially with FPS games, you have to practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to really work, like Luke said, work on your aim.
Yeah.
I can't aim. I can't play any game and aim at something. You know what I mean?
Dude, I'm
But,
always top gun in Halo on SWAT. Shoot for the head.
I've
Yeah, I
always
think-
been so ass at just anything like
I
that.
think
like,
a lot of aiming and like shooters and stuff is honestly just like being chill about it, especially like PUBG or Fortnite. It's like you gotta like, I don't know. I'm not great at video games, but I'm pretty decent, and like I feel like in PUBG especially or like Fortnite, the times I die the most just because I like just choke, I like flip out, and it's like if I would have been more chill there and like picked my shots, I probably would have beat them.
Yeah.
But I didn't. But I didn't do that. I was just like click 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 click. You gotta like.
You know one game that we haven't talked about that we should have just started with?
What?
what's that?
Civ. That shit
Oh,
is
yeah.
so hard. Like if you play it on a high difficulty, and especially
gotta,
with other
like,
people,
You gotta plan out so far ahead.
there's way too many aspects of that game that you can't get wrong, or else you get screwed up in the long term. It's pretty bad. Like if you choose the wrong technologies or the wrong science, you're gonna, if you're on the path, you're basically on the path to destruction.
I feel
See,
like you
but,
have like a few chances to screw up though, because there are so many turns. But yeah, I feel like for the most part, you have to make most of your big decisions correct.
But games like that, I feel like, games like Civ where it's you kind of have to. I want to relate it to like RPGs almost, because you have to build in that case your civilization, but you have to build your character, whatever.
More time
a certain way.
RTS, real time strategy. It's like StarCraft.
Yeah, not so much. I mean, I'm not saying Civ isn't, but I'm saying like not so much the timing, but
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
it's
in
it's
Civ
less
you're
timing,
building it.
more intellect.
and you're building a civilization. But the problem I have with games like that, and with RPGs as well, like Pokemon or what's another example? Even games
Undertale.
like Paper Mario or Undertale, to some extent, you're building like a character and making skills, and like there's always like a best way to do it, and like that bothers me as a gamer, like as someone that's playing the game, because like, I want to do, and feel free if you disagree or whatever to tell me why, but like I feel like there's a certain way to do things. Like, doesn't that kind of take out the feeling of choice when you're playing a game? Does that make sense?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of understand where you're coming from, but with like you were talking about Pokemon.
Mhm.
I feel like it depends on the
Obviously,
game,
the
though.
storyline is pretty straightforward and linear.
Well, yeah.
I feel
but-
like there's a lot of choice in Pokemon.
but
Which Pokemons you pick, what
there's-
moves you use when.
But
like,
there's a best way to do it.
Yeah, maybe.
yeah,
but
there's still several ways that would still work just as well.
Exactly.
Like I
there's
mean,
so many teams you could put together. There's so many Pokemon
okay.
to put
or
together.
like the BioShock games. You have all these different plasmids and all these other different weapons you can use, and like different ones you can use in different combinations. Just kind of depends on how you want to do that.
But I wouldn't call that. That's not so much an RPG though. I mean,
No,
it
it's
is
not.
to some sense, but like okay,
it's a
for
weird like
Pokemon-
gray area game.
Pokemon, I would say, it's better about that challenge that RPGs face, because there are so many Pokemon to pick from. But I mean, when it's all said and done, you got to get Pokemon that you like, if you think they're cool looking or what have you, and you have to level them up and then fight the bosses, right?
Mhm.
And it's a straightforward game. But I think the only reason that you feel that you have choice is because there's so many different Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's where the give and take is. Because, I mean, you buy the game, most people buy it for the enjoyment of the whole battling and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But they know it's going to be like a linear thing. That's why they buy new games, because there's new storylines.
See, I don't know. That's why I got like disenchanted with the whole franchise, just because it was the same thing.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I suppose. But Undertale, apparently there's a lot of branching in Undertale. Like, there's, first of all, there's the good and evil aspect.
right.
And then there's other things, like, based on what games are which, there's like 100 different story things that you can get through. Like, there's certain secret characters and stuff that you can unlock, and like lore and all that jazz. So I say Undertale is pretty in depth. I never played the game, but I've watched the game theory and stuff on it and things like that.
I mean, yeah. I've only played. I've played through it once when it came out, before the community got really weird, and it was good. I just feel like Undertale, and it's a well done game, but I think that's also, like, you have these different paths you can go. I think there's like 3 or 4. I could be totally wrong about that, but there's like a neutral ending, a good ending, and a bad ending, and then there's like a total bad ending and a total good ending where you kill everything or you kill nothing. And I think the beauty in that is not in the mechanic of the game, it's in the writing, because I think most of the dialogue it depends on how you're doing in those areas, how many things you've killed.
Yeah. If we want to talk weird video games, something that I played that completely blew my mind, and it's gonna sound really weird, but there's a game called Doki Doki Literature Club.
I
I've heard
know
of
you're
that.
not bringing that up.
I am bringing it up because that shit fucked me
You
up.
slowly open the door.
Well, not just that part. I'm talking about the fact that it changes
I never played it.
files and you can watch it. Change your files in the game.
Wait, what?
You didn't know that?
Explain to me. I don't know anything about the game. I've just
Okay,
heard of
so
it.
as you play through the game, you can make a choice based on, like, it looks like a regular, like, anime waifu dating simulator. But then it starts to turn into, like, a horror game. And it's like a psychological horror game.
Okay.
And then you open up the game directory, and you look at the character files, and then each time you see, like, something happen, like, they start adding stuff to the folders, and start taking away, like, one, spoiler alert, but a character dies in one of them. And it's supposed to be, like, your best friend and stuff like that. And the reason why that happened is because the leader of the literature club, who is now who knows that you're playing the game and targets the player psychologically, and targets the player like as if she's a omniscient like character, like that knows she's in a game and just wants you for herself. So like you try and go after these other girls, and the character is named, the leader of the literature club is named Monica, and Monica turns up Sayori, who's your best friend in the game, turns up her depression level, so she ends up hanging herself. And then another person has like obsessive, like an obsessive disorder, not really a
Like
disorder.
OCD,
Compulsive disorder?
obsessive compulsive.
Not really, like just an obsessive tendency. Well, she turns that way up, and
Isn't
gets
that what that kind of is, though?
kind of. I wouldn't really. Maybe.
Like, what's the tendency?
Like, kind of like a stalker's tendency.
I would say that's still pretty OCD, kind of.
Maybe. Okay, we'll call it that. But then the leader of it does that, and then she also fucks around with like the dialogue that you can pick, and then towards the end of it, it's just her and you in a floating room, and she completely like deletes the rest of the game. And in order to like get everybody back, you delete her character file at the end, and then the game works out to where Monica, like, it has different endings as well, like based on when you delete the character files and whatnot. Like your best friend Sayori at the beginning, you just meet her to walk to school or something like that, and if you delete Monica's character file before the game even starts, Sayori's like, wait, hold on, this isn't right, and then something goes on, and then that just ends the game right there. Or you start deleting other character files, or you start adding in, like you copy and paste the character files from previous, and it just messes with the game. Like you can branch it and manipulate it and stuff. And I thought it was
And the game responds that with that.
yes,
That's really
pretty
cool.
interesting.
Like just from an outside, like just from a programming standpoint.
exactly. Which that's why I thought this game was so innovative. Although it's like simulated as a dating simulator, and then it turns out to be like a psychological horror game that nobody even fucking knew that was gonna happen. And then so it's a really cool game. I highly recommend it. And you might I played it late at night in the dark, and it kind of fucked me
And I
up.
freaked out.
But other than that, though, it was pretty good. It was a really good game. Like it was one of the best games I ever played, in my opinion, because it was just so innovative.
Really
Yeah, like
interesting.
the idea of all that is insane.
Luke, how do you feel about this game? I feel like you don't like it so much.
I don't know. I mean, like that's a cool. I think it's a really cool concept to like mess around with the files.
But I mean, obviously, if it's not your cup of tea to like play like a game like that, then you won't like it. But I just thought it was innovative.
Cup of tea. Cup of tea.
Nice cup of.
You know what a cup of tea is? You know what a cup of tea is?
What?
That's a food. Let's talk about food right now, all right?
Nice segue.
If you can help me out here, actually, because I don't
Yeah.
remember exactly what we were talking about the other day. We were
Foods
talking
that
about
are
food, though.
poisonous and can kill you, or like that if not
Oh,
done sun properly. Like there's two kinds of almonds. There's bitter almonds and there's sweet almonds. And bitter almonds, if they don't treat them properly, will give you cyanide poisoning.
Same with
But
apple.
activated. What about
apple seeds.
activated almonds?
The
I don't
fuck's
know
an
what those
apple?
are.
What's an activated almond?
Yeah.
Never mind. You guys aren't cool.
I guess not.
You
Explain
don't
this.
meme as hard as me.
Explain.
Cherry pits will. What would you say is the perfect number of almonds?
The perfect number of
It's
almonds.
like a
Yeah.
handful.
I could eat almonds all day.
I
dude.
would.
I love almonds.
I would like to argue one almond.
It's a good keto snack.
I'd like
Why
to.
is that the perfect amount?
I'd like to introduce you to onealmond.com.
No thanks.
Excuse me?
I'll introduce you to meatspin.com.
No, it's a Jake and Amir reference. And honestly, Kyle, did you know that was a Jake and Amir reference?
No.
When you said that when he said I don't know like a handful,
No.
because that's what he literally says in the sketch. He goes, "What would you say is the perfect number of almonds?" And he goes, "I don't know, like a handful." So that worked out really well.
Whoops. Well, wow. Okay, so let's talk about stuff that's been going on in our lives as of recent. Luke and I have recently started streaming, and then I know Trey's gonna probably
Holla
start
at your
doing
boy,
that
yeah.
pretty soon. And tell me about your success so far, Luke.
So we're trying to get that Twitch affiliate, 'cause why not?
Yeah.
And so I usually average anywhere from usually 6
to
viewers
12.
and up. Yeah. I've streamed a little bit of PUBG. I've streamed a lot of Fortnite, but I'm kind of moving away from that because it just gets kind of like
you get
repetitive.
burnt
Just
out on
always
it.
stream that. Yeah. Started streaming PC Building Simulator today, which I've done once before, but I did it again today, and I actually got some new viewers who followed me, which is the only thing I need to get affiliate. Is I need more followers.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna start streaming that more because it's a pretty fun, chill game. Just like you run like a computer shop pretty much, and you repair people's computers, build people computers, which is like what a lot of people would want to do if
Mhm.
they could. But like, there's not a huge market for that, so they don't. But
So
yeah, that's
your
what I'm probably gonna start streaming.
follower count so far. What is it?
I believe it is at. Let me double check, but I believe it's at 11 or I think it's 12 now.
It might be
But yeah, I also
12.
I
It's 12.
Okay, I streamed all of Firewatch, the whole game,
All of Super Hot.
and all of Super Hot too. Yeah, that was a long stream, and that was
You know what's ironic?
my eyes hurt at the end of that. My eyes were burning from both those games.
Do you know what's ironic?
What?
You know how we were talking about Super Hot and like how I played it on HTC Vive?
Yeah.
Noah actually.
I saw
Yeah.
that. Yes.
I was like, what the fuck? What's
They're
the?
I was like,
what
they're
is-
playing super hot.
Yeah, I know. I was
If-
like, what are the chances that we've just been
Yeah.
talking about that, and then this happens?
If you guys don't know what super hot is, you need to go look it up right now. It is such a cool game. It is very short, and I wouldn't recommend buying it at full price because you can beat it in like 3 hours or less easily, depending on how good you are at it.
Mhm.
But it is a very interesting game mechanic. It has very interesting game mechanics where as you move, time moves. So like, if you go really fast, time will move really fast. But if you stand still, time will go really, really slow. Like it still keeps going, so you can't just. It doesn't like necessarily pause when you stand still, but it might as well.
Yeah, and well, that's the one aspect of the game that makes it so hard on the Vive, is because you're, instead of mouse and keyboard or controller, you're using your body to
Yeah.
make the time frame faster or slower. So
Well, it's
you
got a
get,
pretty little interesting story in there too, like kind of hidden in there.
yeah, and
At
then
least
we're
on
not
the
going
PC
to spoil
version.
we're not going to spoil the end for it, but it's a pretty interesting ending
No.
as well.
Yeah.
I want to take an HTC Vive and I want to strap it to my grandma's head, with duct tape, and I want to turn on a game and see what she does,
Why the
Why?
fuck would you do that?
because I want to see how she reacts.
Why you gotta use the duct tape though? Why can't you just be like, hey,
So
grandma?
she can't take it off.
Why? She not have arms?
I'm not taking further questions about this.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah.
Let's see. So we're talking about the Vive.
Yeah.
Are we gonna?
No, I mean, no.
Let me tell you what I think about the Vive. Let me tell you what I think about VR.
It's
All right.
super expensive. I know that.
I like it a lot.
I do too.
So do I.
I tried it once. I played Super Hot. It's the only game I played on VR. But when I turned the VR on, I think it was the Vive, or like, does PlayStation have its own VR?
PlayStation
Mm,
VR is a thing.
yeah.
There's the Oculus Rift. There's the HTC Vive, and there's a
It must
few
have been
other.
PlayStation that I played.
There's other
ones.
ones where you just put your phone in the thing.
I had the weird controllers with the balls.
So,
Though
yeah,
that's PlayStation VR.
So,
Yep.
yeah, and I remember putting it on, and I was in this room. It was like a 90s computer, like an old CRT computer, and then there was like post-it notes and stuff on the wall, and like corkboard, and like
Were you playing Job Simulator?
I think that might have
Oh,
been
yeah,
in
I
there.
Dude,
I
that
played
game looks
that.
so cool. That's like one of the games I almost like makes me want to get a
I
VR
don't think
headset.
I played it though. I think I just played.
I was gonna say that I played Job Simulator on there too.
I played Super Hot, but I remember I think it was or the game was on when I put the headset on. I just remember like I was looking around the room and I was like, "Damn, this is the coolest thing ever."
yeah.
Yeah.
It's very disorienting as well.
I think my grandma, if I strapped it to her head, she would be like,
It's probably
she would have a heart attack.
Probably
you know?
throw up. I know that.
I can't even.
happened with my mom.
Can you think of your grandma throwing up? I can't even picture that.
It's like dust.
Ew.
That's what I think of if my grandma threw up.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, I played Job Simulator on there. I played the mechanic. I played the, like the movie theater card or whatever it is, like the concession stand. Oh yeah, I made hamburgers. You just recently made a game, or not? It's not fully complete, and I don't think you'll ever complete it because you're working on another one. But you're.
Oh, I'll
you're making
complete
a-
it. All right.
You're making a hot dog thing.
All right. So, yeah, I got bored the last couple weeks of school because it was slow. And made a thing where you make hot dogs. I guess it was kind of like that Job Simulator, but I mean, I only spent like a week on it, 2 weeks maybe.
And what are you making this in?
I use Unity.
Okay.
Unity with C#.
Yeah.
Cause I'm a hacker.
Yeah, that's
Hacker
man.
exactly what you are.
And yeah, it was fun to make, but it's one of those things where it's probably more fun to make than it is to play.
Yeah.
We did some audio clips.
Yeah, that was a good
Kyle.
time.
Kyle helped with that, and
Yeah, me and Noah. And then who else did?
Jacob and Bill and
Did they throw down on the mic?
Jacob did
Oh yeah, okay.
for sure.
yeah, Jacob
I
did a
don't
little
think
bit.
Bill
He
ever
did chicken
left his
noise.
room.
Bill did a couple.
Did he?
Yeah, I was gonna say Bill did some. I was the one who didn't do any because I forgot what I was doing, but I think I had a test
you're
the next
studying
day.
physics or something.
No, I
Yeah.
think it was calc.
Well, maybe.
I think I want to put this next game though. Like I've said a few times in my life, I'm gonna make a game, but like
This is a game.
after
This is a game that you really want to make to throw on Steam.
Yeah.
yeah, and I think we can do it. After this first this year of college, I feel like I've learned enough to where I could probably. Well, I know for sure I can get a lot of the game mechanics in there already because I've already made them. But like,
I think you should do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna do it. I think we're gonna push it all the way because we've been wanting to do this for a while, my friend and I, and he's good enough now at modeling, is what he does,
Uh-huh.
3D modeling, that I think we can get this game out. Maybe by the end of summer even, because
Yeah.
it's not super complicated. It's just like a little.
So
That'd be pretty
for
tight.
the background for Luke, Trey, and I, so we are currently university students, and we
Yep.
are Trey's in the degree of CS, which is computer science, and then Luke just recently changed his major, but he's in the same major as I am, as well as the other part of that major, which is electrical and computer engineering.
Yeah, so I'm doing a dual degree program. It's just basically adds a semester to get electrical and computer engineering because a lot of the classes overlap. So you just got to take the ones that you don't complete in the other for the one. So
Yeah, and then I'm doing computer engineering with a minor in business, so that'll help
I'm also
me.
minoring in math.
Yeah, it'll help me
'cause-
down the line, and then
YOLO.
you're minoring in math because it's like one more math class as an engineer.
Only for some of them, but yeah, for like mechanical or for even I think computer or no, for electrical. I don't know if computer is or not, but yeah,
Oh.
for a few of them you only need like an additional math class or two. So
Well, you get to take DiffEQ now that you switched to.
no, I would have had to take that anyway. Cause okay, for some context, I was originally in mechanical engineering, but no, I'm taking just as much math as I would have before.
Yeah. Well, you're ahead. Trey and you are ahead of me,
Yeah,
especially compared to everybody else. They're one
Yeah.
math class ahead of me, and then is Bill retaking calc?
I have no idea.
He might be. Unless
might
he's
be,
taking it
is
at a
right.
community.
Yeah, I don't know.
college.
If you're out there listening to this and you've completed above Calc 2,
Add us.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, basically.
It's so hard.
Me too.
Um,
Calc 2 is definitely the hardest class I've ever taken ever.
Yeah.
Hardest class I've ever taken is
But don't at
literature
me.
in high school. Because my
Really?
my teacher, I'm sure I've already told you guys this, but here's information for the podcast. My teacher used to teach at Mizzou, which is the best journalism school in the country. And then he also used to work for the Wall Street Journal in China. So, that's his background.
Was he Chinese?
No, he's white.
He didn't speak Chinese?
I'm sure he did at one point. He told me he could speak like Cantonese, but then he hasn't been in the field for a while, so I wouldn't expect him to start talking
In the
to me.
rice field?
Boo. Boo, Trey. Boo.
Okay, well, speaking of booing at things, I find that when I see a bad movie, I boo at it. So,
What, like
can I
in the
ask
theater?
you? Can I ask you? Have you seen any movies lately that made you say boo or yay or
What was that last one?
there's a gasp?
Is that what that was?
I would say, I don't know, most movies I feel like there's something I can always find in them that I appreciate. Even if I'm like, okay, well, this aspect of a movie was bad. Because there's so many aspects to movies that I'm like, even if this one was bad, they shined in this one or they shined in this one. I don't know if I've ever seen one where I'm like, alright, that whole thing was garbage.
Yeah, I think the one that I would say the whole thing is garbage is the newest release of the Blair Witch Project, like the sequel to it.
Yeah, that wasn't
It's
that
supposed
good.
to be a prequel. That was pretty bad. The Conjuring was bad. Everybody loves Paranormal Activity, but that I watched that movie and that was pretty bad.
Y'all are just
Okay.
like shitting on all these
Hold on,
movies.
hold
I
on. Alright,
like.
Kyle, hold on. This is... Oh, I just knocked something over my desk.
Jesus.
So, okay, hold on. Paranormal Activity. There are things that can be appreciated about that movie. That revolutionized horror movie, and almost, I mean, with the exception of Blair Witch, it basically invented found footage films, and well, it maybe not invented, but it popularized them. That movie
Nah,
was
dude,
made,
Cloverfield.
Cloverfield's
dude.
not a horror movie. It's a
Yeah,
thriller.
That's a thriller, but like
but
Cloverfield
okay.
was like the first one that was like, this dude's holding a camera.
No. But like, I'm saying that they popularized it for people to make them more, not necessarily watch them more. Because when Cloverfield came out, or no, sorry, not Cloverfield.
Blair Witch.
No. When Paranormal Activity came out, that movie was shot with a $15,000 budget.
Yeah.
$15,000 to
Oh,
make
that's
that whole
crazy,
movie.
Really?
Yeah, and so that's why that movie style became so popular, was because you could make them for so cheap, which was unfortunate that it be like in a way that it made a lot of bad ones come out because people were just grinding them out so that because they were so cheap and it was like you almost were guaranteed a profit. But there are a lot of good ones out there, and honestly, I think it's owed to Paranormal Activity. Not necessarily, it's kind of like the Candy Crush effect. Like, you don't have to be the first person to do something. You have to be the one that, like, makes everyone else want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Or that, like, popularizes it. That has the big...
don't know,
you have the biggest impact like that.
It's a double-edged sword because I definitely think I love that medium as a horror movie just because I don't know, it's more, it feels more real. But that being said, not every movie needs to be a hand cam movie. And there was
No.
definitely a period there after Paranormal. I guess, so you're right. You're totally right.
It was a good and a
about,
bad thing, yeah.
Like, there was a period right after Paranormal
what about
had gotten popular.
What about some good horror movies that you guys have seen?
To be honest,
Good horror movies?
I don't really watch a lot of horror movies. I'm not a big horror movie guy, but...
Yeah. Couple ones that I've seen that I thought were really good. The VHS movies.
VHS is supposed to be really... I've seen a little bit of that. That one's good.
It's a good one. 1 and 2 were good. Another one called Grave Encounters. It used to be on Netflix, but it's not anymore. But Grave Encounters is a really good one as well.
It was really good.
And that was like,
Yeah.
That was good. I loved that movie.
I saw it a couple times, yeah. It was pretty good.
You saw it a couple times, Trey? The first time you saw it was with us, right? Or Kyle wasn't there, but it was you, me, some other people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
I forgot.
I
who
forgot I
else
saw it with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at that
Yeah,
Forum 8 or whatever the movie theater's called.
Yeah, the only movie trip I made with you guys was Infinity
Avengers.
War. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a pretty good movie too.
That was really, yeah.
I liked
was
it,
long
yeah.
as fuck, though.
I'm ready to ingest the second part. Oh,
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to ingest the second part of both Infinity War and it.
You're over it? You're over, the Infinity Wars?
No,
Just
I'm
in
ready.
entirety.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to watch it.
dude.
Already.
No, I'm-
You know what comes out? Alright, what is today? Today is the... Oh, well, it's past midnight, so it's technically the 25th. The Han Solo movie comes out today.
Oh, yeah?
Oh yeah.
You guys trying to
I'll
see
have to go
it?
see that.
No.
Actually, me neither, because I don't have money, but... Just
I
remember
think I
that.
will.
I wouldn't want to go see a movie.
I'll
by
probably
myself.
see it when I get back home.
Yeah, I. For some reason, I really don't have an interest in it.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see how it turned out with all the stuff that went up and down with it. I mean,
Like I haven't even seen The Last Jedi yet, so.
well, you don't have to see The Last Jedi to see this movie. They're
Well,
not
I know,
related
but
at all.
I like Star Wars, but it's just I don't really.
I think Donald Glover. I mean, obviously, for you guys, you know this, but I'm a huge Donald Glover fan / Childish Gambino fan. But I'm very excited to see how he does in this movie, and to see him as Lando. I think they picked a really good character to kind of fit that
Mhm.
like, type of person.
Yeah, well, I mean, he reminds me of the original Lando anyway. So.
Billy D. Williams, yeah, he does. You know,
I
it's
don't,
funny.
I feel like I don't do a lot of, like, the pre, like, movie. I feel like when a movie comes out, especially, like, a Star Wars movie,
Mhm.
there's a lot of, like, everybody I talk to about it knows a lot about it already. You know what I mean? Like, Infinity War,
Yeah.
tons of background knowledge for people coming
Well,
into
yeah,
it.
the comic books, but you don't. Even if you know a lot of like background knowledge about the comic books, you don't know how they're gonna overlay
in the
that
cinematic.
onto the cinematic screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't see my. I don't know. I've never gone into a movie doing a ton of like research on it before going in. Like I think the only thing I knew about Solo actually was that Donald Glover was in it.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about
much
the movie
it either.
itself or what's going to be in it. I've only ever known anything about like what's happened while they're like in the production, because one of the writers got changed because they couldn't agree on anything. The guy who was playing Han Solo had to take acting lessons because I guess he sucked. So
What?
Yeah, I mean that
yeah,
actor.
that movie had a lot of hiccups to say the
He
least.
took. He's still the lead.
Oh yeah.
Why?
Well, evidently he became good enough to do it. So, but still, with that being said, I mean that's a price you got to pay to get new actors into the scene instead of like picking. Like originally they thought Chris Pratt was going to be Han Solo.
If you look at I would not honestly want him. I like Chris Pratt. I do not think he would be the right choice for Han Solo.
That's just. I think that's just evidence that they're gonna throw together the two. They're gonna put Marvel, and they're gonna put Star Wars in the same universe.
They
My
can't.
ass.
Why would they?
I don't know. I just think the only reason they didn't have Chris Pratt is because he's already in Marvel.
Yeah, maybe.
No, I don't think so. I think they picked this guy because there's other reasons they did. It's not.
Y'all just wait. Y'all just wait.
No,
You're-
they're not gonna connect those
you're wrong,
universes.
Trey.
They would. That would
They
honestly. That would be terrible in my opinion. I think a lot of people would be very upset, and I think they would get a lot of
That would be-
backlash.
See something.
Hilarious.
Something I would see, and it would be kick ass. But I know which universe would win: Marvel versus DC. Now, if they could agree on production for a movie like that, it would make so much money. And then,
Like the Justice League versus the
Yeah,
Avengers
Avengers,
sort of
yeah.
thing.
I think that I think DC would agree to it because DC does not make
their
is not nearly as
coffers-
popular, doesn't make nearly as much money as Marvel. I don't think Marvel would agree to it because Marvel would be like, why would we co-promote?
Yeah, exactly. And
Which makes sense. Like,
and-
why would you?
it's because the DC, it's Warner Bros, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, their coffers are literally coughing. Like their coinage is shit because they didn't make anything on those DC movies. The last good Batman movie.
Well, they weren't that
made was The Dark
good.
Knight
The Batman
Rises.
movies were the only ones that were good.
Exactly. I never watched any of the Superman films because I never was interested.
I saw Man of Steel. It wasn't bad, but it was like it was just
I like
kind
Man of
of
Steel.
I don't know.
Superman's overpowered.
Like it was good, but it was just like, all right, you know.
And then I didn't watch Batman versus Superman because I already knew what was going to happen.
I feel like
It was a stalemate,
part of-
right?
kind of. I feel like part of the reason, like one of the things that made the Batman movies so good was the villains.
The villains
I feel like
were so good.
I feel like the hero doesn't always make the movie. I mean, they do, but like the villain does too. If you look at like the old, I forgot even who even played Batman in this movie because it wasn't that good of a Batman. But
Talking
when
about, like,
you
Mr. Freeze.
well, no, that was George Clooney, and that
Yeah,
was
it
terrible. But I'm talking about if you say, okay, who do you think the best Joker was? The two top choices are almost always Heath Ledger and what's his name?
Whatever
Nichols.
Yeah, Jack Nichols.
Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson was a great Joker, and
You know,
that like made that movie so much better. Like that movie would have been garbage without him.
you ever dance?
And it was because he was a good villain.
You ever
dance
dance
with the Devil in the Pale Moonlight?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Another good one that they
Do you want to know
throw
how I got
in-
these scars?
Another good one that they throw in for the Joker, like voice wise, is Mark Hamill. 'Cause he
Mark
does
Hamill's an excellent Joker.
he does
Yeah,
the-
he does all the voice acting.
and even
for the most
even
part.
the Lego Batman movie, Zach Galifianakis did a good Joker as well, which
Yeah,
is
they-
kind of weird to compare, but it's still pretty good. Yeah, but let's talk about those Lego movies. Those are actually really good. There's a lot.
The Lego movies.
There's a lot of there's a lot of dirty jokes that are shrouded by the kidness of it. Also, the Lego movie has a sequel coming next
Was
year.
it really?
I've never seen any of the Lego films.
Dude, the
at all.
Lego movie is honestly really good.
Everything's awesome, dog.
The OG, no, that was like a really cool movie. I liked that a lot. I liked the like just I mean like the end. I don't want to ruin it for Trey, but he's probably not gonna see it. But like just the way they did that at the end was so cool. I don't know.
They had
I
to
like
get
that a
so
lot.
many copyright things as well.
Oh, I'm sure, because those are all those different companies.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was probably a nightmare.
Exactly. But
But it was worth it. It
mean-
was so worth it.
that's the only thing. Well, it's two movies that come to mind when I think about like while I was watching them, thinking about copyright things that they had to pay for, were that Lego movie, the Lego movie,
Mhm.
and Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph had so many like gaming.
I never saw that. I feel like it was really good though.
It is.
A lot of them were not direct references though, so they didn't have to pay for it. Pac-Man was one of them, so they would have had to pay Namco.
Sonic
I
was
mean,
in there.
But like, how much money do you really have to pay Namco?
I don't know, but
Namco, do they even really exist anymore?
Sonic was in there.
Well, you could argue like that they're promoting, so
Yeah.
that they wouldn't have to pay so much, if anything.
I don't know about that.
No, you definitely do have to pay for the rights. They will tell you no, because you could argue that, and I would agree that that is literally free advertisement on a pretty large scale. But no company will pretty much ever do that. They'll do it the other way around because they're going to want to get paid for you using their names. Because you could also view it as you're going to use our name to promote your movie.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah, to make money. That makes sense.
Yeah, and then you want to get paid so that you want to get money back from them getting that money.
Exactly. Like they had Pac-Man, Zangief was one of them.
It's from Disney though. I mean, Disney can afford that.
Well, yeah, but it's still amazing to see all of the
Yeah.
crossovers that they brought into that movie. Yeah, but like, it's pretty insane. Not gonna lie. Anybody want to segue to another topic?
Yeah, I can do one. How long do you want to speak? 'Cause we're coming up on
We're
52
coming,
minutes.
Yeah, 52 minutes. I see that. Probably till about an hour and 10, maybe.
Okay.
I won't have to do a lot of editing on this.
Yeah, I don't want to do the space exploration old versus new one yet because I feel like that takes more than that amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see. What else could we do? What other ones did you guys have written down?
What's your ideal sexual partner? Trey, go.
Mine?
And forget about the fact that you have a girlfriend.
I'm dating someone.
Yeah.
Can I?
I mean, is that your ideal sexual partner?
Ideal sexual partner.
I mean,
you answer this, and then I'll give you an answer. I want to hear what you have to
okay.
say.
So it's not like a question between are you a tits and an ass man, but for the record, I'm a tits man. But any size is fine. But
You're a
anyway,
tits man.
yeah. But well, I mean,
I don't know how I feel about that.
I have my own ass, dog. Come on. I have enough ass in my life. Anyway, because it's big. It's a big ass. Anyway.
Well, I think we gathered that.
Anyway, I don't know. Like, I'm like the girls I'm interested in are usually I'm more into personality, and then looks is just like a plus. But redheads and Asians, I'm very into.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys knew that, but that's
Kyle, you're like a 40-year-old man.
I can't tell if that's a good thing.
You
or
remind
not.
me of one of my other friends.
But
Now
yeah.
even more than you already did.
And I'm more into girls with like a petite structure. But
Yeah.
did you say ew?
I said yeah.
Oh, I was about to say Jesus.
Ew.
No, not you.
But yeah, no, like even not to make this weird, but like a girl like Delaney is kind of girl that I would like to have a relationship with. Not Delaney in general, but like you know what I mean.
No, I feel you, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't.
Trace,
I
like
mean,
you
don't
trying to
misconstrue.
steal my girl?
If I had to give you an answer, I would say yeah. Same, really. I like redheads. Delaney's pretty much a redhead, so
Yeah.
she's also thin. I like that. But
I mean, I had a girl that I was trying to be in a relationship in first semester, and obviously didn't work out. But she had like strawberry blonde hair, almost to the point of redhead. But she was just too, like too, not too close-minded, I guess. Like she was open-minded about other things, but too closed-minded to be in a relationship with. Like
What do you mean?
a political.
Like she
spectrum.
wouldn't pee on you?
Yeah, she peed on me.
She wouldn't pee on you.
Oh.
She R. Kelly'd me, man.
No, she didn't really trust men.
Oh,
That's
oh,
interesting.
A feminist kind of
what?
deal.
Oh, feminist.
I mean,
The,
not all feminists are bad, but she was just like,
The letting a small group, a small portion of a group, be the way you let that sway the way you view the entirety of the group.
yeah. Well, I mean, she didn't like hate men. She just had very. Well,
But assumed they
she
all had very similar things to that. You know,
Well, not just that. I mean, she told me things that happened in her past life, and I'm not really gonna get into it, but stuff like that affected her, and
Her past life.
well, in her past, you douche.
I'm
past
sorry.
Past is just a story we tell ourselves. Do you remember
What does that
ours?
mean, Luke?
What does it mean?
Yeah.
It means if you ask me what happened in the past today versus if you ask me what happened in the past 5 years from now about the same event, I'd probably tell you a different story.
Yeah, maybe.
That's so weird. I remember along the same line of that, I read somewhere that every time you recall something, you're recalling what you recalled last time you recalled it.
Well, it's because the neural pathways in your mind aren't being used to recall that anymore, and like memories
Well, and you got to
fade.
think about the.
What?
They're
You
called
could have
flashbulb
changed your outlook on that
memories.
situation. You
Yeah.
know, like at one point you'd be like, "Wow, this situation was like the worst," and blah 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 blah. But at the same time, you might look back and be like, "Wow, you know what? I'm kind of glad that happened because I think I gained a lot, and I grew a lot as a person because of that experience."
Well, I think
And-
that's just subtracting the heat of the moment. But I mean, like,
No, but not even that. Like, if you asked me about something that happened a year ago, and I was like, "Yeah, that was still the worst," but 10 years from now, I'd be like, "You know what?
Yeah,
Maybe
we
it
can
wasn't.
No,
we can piggyback.
Maybe
I'm
I
on
saying,
needed
that.
like, I'm saying like when you okay, so like let's say just to be super simple, like you hand me an apple, right?
Uh-huh.
hmm
And like, I recall that you handed me an apple and like the environment around us like a week later. And then a week from that, I think back on the time you handed me an apple. I'm not recalling the time you handed me an apple. I'm recalling the time that I recalled the time you handed me an apple.
Hmm.
I feel
That's
like
how
you,
memory works.
Is
Yeah,
it?
but I feel like you could still recall on the original one.
Yeah,
But it gets more and more vague.
fuzzy. To say the least.
Yeah. You lose
Put it
details
in
because you're
layman's
not
terms.
remembering the
Yeah,
event. You're remembering
I think that
your
depends on the event
recollection.
though, because there are people who will tell you like that they remember an event so vividly they could tell you the color of the shirt of the guy across from them.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, there's certain memories that stay within your with your brain longer, especially if they're traumatic.
Well, yeah, your brain you give like you establish importance
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
to certain things.
you can have
but-
traumatic memories that you can actually block, like your repressed memories, where your brain will block them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like that one time with my uncle. I'm just kidding.
Whoa,
Never
Kyle.
sleeping on a pull-out couch again.
Sometimes you say
something to
things,
tell me,
Kyle,
Kyle.
and it's like I can't
Something
tell.
you need to get off your chest, buddy.
No, it's
I
repressed.
can't tell if he's being
Yeah,
serious.
it's my uncle. I need to get him off my chest.
Oh no, I needed to get him off my chest. Anyway, let's piggyback on that. We asked this during a stream once, but any events that kind of changed your life? Because I have one.
Go ahead.
Okay, so
I have several.
yeah, it's not something that like changed my path like Luke asked, but it was something that was really traumatic for me. I was a wee lad, 4th grade, and I figured out that my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. And it was stage 1, stage 2, but it was still a traumatic experience seeing her tied up to
Still
like,
scary.
tube and stuff like that. But
Oh, it's still very scary,
She eventually
yeah.
beat it the whole time with her, like, I never want her to cut her hair very short anymore because it just reminds me of the time when she had cancer and she was like
Yeah.
bald. And then in order to get rid of the cancer, like full-heartedly, she battled through all that chemo and stuff. And I remember her having like the pump and stuff like that, and like the hole in her chest. And then she eventually got a double mastectomy, which is cutting off the breast surgically.
Mm-hmm.
So now she has fake boobies, no nipples.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, that's a pretty
she got
common
plastic
thing.
surgery after.
A lot of
yeah.
people do that because it just will look weird if you've had them removed, and
Yeah,
but I mean that's what you
they
have to
wanna
do.
keep
Like that's
their pride and their womanhood like that.
yeah,
Sometimes
it's under.
like
I
that.
mean, like if let's say you had let's say you were in like a car accident, like a really bad car accident, and your face got messed up, you might get plastic surgery just to make it look normal again.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, I understand the point. I don't know, man.
Mhm.
I would say. I mean, I would say it's a pretty relatively common thing.
Yeah. Anything for you, Trey?
That changed like my path.
No, not that change your path. Just like something
Could
that
be
was
either.
traumatic. Or
Something that changed your
something
life.
That changed your life.
That was traumatic.
Doesn't have to be
I don't know.
I'm
traumatic.
saying anything. Oh shit.
I'm not gonna delve into my past per se. I've had a lot of things in my life that weren't necessarily
No,
the best, and they changed my life.
I feel that. You could probably do a 3 podcast series on all the things I could say, but just
Yeah.
something that like it doesn't have to be. It can be a good or a bad thing. Something that maybe like changed your outlook on something too.
Well, I remember, as far as like what I want to do with my life, I was, gosh, I might have been 12 or 13, and I was sitting on the floor at my grandparents' place, and my dad was like on the computer, and like I was looking at the desk, and there was like a copy of like Word on the like a box copy of Word, just kind of sitting on one of the shelves of the desk. And I just kind of asked my dad. He's an IT guy, so I was like, "How do they make stuff like that?" And he kind of told me. He gave me a very brief, like, "This is what programming is," and like they code it. And I was super interested in that, just like immediately.
Mhm.
So like the next few months after that, I looked up like HTML, and it's not like real code per se, but that like definitely kicked off what I wanted to do, and I found out I loved it after getting really into.
I found out I didn't like coding so
And
much when I
JavaScript.
tried to teach myself Python. And I was like, okay, this is easy, this is easy, this is easy. And obviously Python's not that hard of code, but it was just something I wasn't that interested in. Like, I think it's cool. Like, you were in the same class as I am, and then you're taking the same class that we did, Luke,
Yep.
during the summer. And I know you'll be a little bit interested in it. And I know but you won't be as interested, kind of like me, you won't be as interested in it as you would be hardware, like chipsets and
No.
like logical systems, stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah.
But,
But I mean, I want to see what you think, Luke, of that class, because it does delve in a lot to how the computer thinks. It's intro.
Yeah.
It's an intro to programming class, so it's not that in depth. But
coding in
since
C.
since you're working with C, you do talk about some concepts that are close to.
Yeah.
And then you've taken
No, yeah,
other
yeah.
you've taken other CS classes, so you know how.
I taught myself HTML and CSS, which, like Trey was talking about, those are pretty, like, a little more basic, more like
You could call those
introductory
two
stuff.
combined like a language.
Yeah, I would combine them. They're really more because they work together so much
Mhm.
that it's like you wouldn't use CSS without using HTML.
Right.
Like you could get away with using HTML without CSS, but you wouldn't. Like you would not use one without the other. I know some Java. I took a class on it. I didn't really learn it all the way, but
One
like all the conceptual stuff I got.
Okay, one thing I do say that I enjoyed about coding is learning and like finally being able to understand what's going on, and then eventually seeing all those compile errors just disappear as you continuously do it, and having the program running correctly. And I know that's where you get your kind of endorphin high from, Trey. That's why you like coding so much.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'd say it's that simple. Because, like, with Unity, so I program in C#, and for me, the best feeling is when you get, these assets to work with, and so my friend, like I said, was a 3D model, so he'll send me something, he's like, all right, I want this to do this, and then I sit there and, like, think of a way to do it, and then I program it, and then seeing it kind of come to life and do what I tell it to
Mm-hmm.
is really one of the best feelings ever. Like the controls for this game we're making right now, he explained to me exactly how he wanted the game to feel, like how the character is supposed to move.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of getting closer to that goal. And every time I improve something just a little bit, it's like, I don't know, I can't even describe it.
Kind of like
one of
how
the best things.
Professor Williams talked about it in class.
Mhm.
Like Professor Williams was our teacher for the listeners. And Luke, I think you're going to be meeting Williams pretty soon.
Maybe if
I
he's my
love him.
teacher.
I think I think most definitely he'll be your teacher. But because I think he said he teaches the summer classes. But
He's the only
he's the only CS 1050 teacher.
intro.
Yeah. So you'll enjoy him. He has a really good personality and he makes it fun. But even at 8 a.m., that sucked balls. The biggest
Really?
the 8 a.m. class trying to learn CS.
Dude, that class is like a cup of coffee to me, dude.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
I loved it.
You loved all of that. Like I said, I'm not interested in programming, but
I loved him.
But I
I
have
loved
to.
the class.
I loved him as a
He was
person.
so funny.
The Sagfault City,
It's like Fall City.
best thing I ever learned from that class, and I've visited it multiple times. Anyway, but yeah, you learn stuff, and then it was really hard to pay attention to that class, especially. I mean, you wrote down notes and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
you helped me with a lot of stuff. So I know you're gonna do good in that whole degree, but
Thanks, man.
you're welcome. But like, since I'm more interested in the hardware and everything, I want to make like chips or graphics cards or just computers in general. Obviously it's good to know how the software works, but I'm just interested in the hardware. But
I'd like to
Yeah.
see it whenever you guys start working on some of your circuitry classes and your actual like hands-on stuff. I'd like to see some of the stuff you guys work on because
all right, well, I think this is a good stopping point for us. So I guess I can do the outro if you guys want me to. Alright, guys, I just want to say thanks for listening to our small little conversation that we had, and we're going to try and keep this up. We don't really have a schedule for this yet because we're like brand new, just conceived, but we're just going to try and keep up and try and upload as much as we can, maybe once a week, maybe a couple days, every other day. With it being summer, we have a lot more time on our hands. And so with that being said, thank you very much for listening in. You can find our contacts and everything in the description below. I'll put that in the description below. And definitely say hi to us during a Twitch stream if you'd like. And Trey should be streaming pretty soon. He'll probably stream like programming and stuff like that if you guys are into that type of deal. But yeah, thanks for watching. This has been the Floor 2 podcast first episode. I think we're naming it the pilot. And I just want to say thanks for watching, guys. See ya.
thanks.